Oh, hi, you guys, and welcome to more Wise Papa Grant Madness as we raise more money for At Races Texas. We are currently at £460, and who knows how high we can go. So far, we've had 4 Wild Magic Surges, and we are having a Wild Magic Surge every time we reach £100, and all of your donations will go to Race Texas to help the kids and families on the border. I'll put the link in the chat there, so if you want to do that, you can go for it. Today, we are introducing Wild Magic Surges as well as a special event for the charity stream. And that will afford you £10 will afford you a Wild Magic Surge today. So, I think without much further ado, we'll go and grab the guys. Oh hi guys, you're live.
Oh hi. Oh my goodness.
Hello.
We're happy to be here.
There we go. So, Greg, would you like... Greg? I'm sorry, Grant.
Oh my gosh, I've been grimjacked!
You've been grimjacked.
Are you?
You
I'll
are
just-
so close. You're
I'll
basically the same person.
I'll just leave.
Professional streamer right here.
How can I mistake the wonderful, the brilliant Wise Papa Grant, the wise man, the rap god, the bad boy himself? Grant, would you like to go first or last?
I will go first. Hi everybody, my name is Grant Ellis and I am breaking necks and cashing checks here on Scraticus Academy. I'm very excited to participate in this charity event. Scrat's a man after my own heart. Love him and his wife to death, and I really like playing games on his channel. Maybe because I misbehave every time I'm here, but yeah, we're gonna get down and dangerous here in the Cypher system.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you. So let's go around and introduce everyone. Let's go round the clock. So we'll go around the clock on the stream. So we've got Katie Faze at 1 o'clock.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm playing Reese Wolf. I've never played Cypher System before, so I'm really excited. She's a clumsy adept of skills and knowledge who would rather be reading. She's a little bit of a nerd.
Awesome. Next, we welcome Amber, who is sitting at 4 o'clock. Welcome, Amber.
Hi. Yep, I'm Amber. I am also new to Cypher System, so I'm really excited for this. I will be playing Fella Gilmore. She is a charming stealth speaker who fights dirty.
Brilliant. That sounds awful, but brilliant at the same time. Next,
I'm having first wife flashbacks.
Next, we welcome to the stream for the first time, Celts. Welcome.
Well, hello. Thank you for having me. I'm the Celts. I'm going to be playing Jolly Bazoo. He's a hideous warrior who needs no weapon. So when his face isn't keeping people away, then he's got his hands and feet to deal with the aftermath of that. And this is also my first venture into the Cypher system, so be gentle.
That smile on Grant's face just broadens.
I was like, you don't earn a reputation as the bad boy of RPGs by being gentle.
Next up, we welcome Earthen Lady. Hello.
Hey guys, I'm really happy to be here. Really happy to be supporting the charity by playing here. And I'll be playing Tiny Tina, who a lot of people probably know already from Borderlands. I base her off of that. Yeah. Also, first venture into Cypher, and I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah.
Yeah. And as for me, I will be playing Tony Vincetti. I'm the face, I'm the voice, okay? I'll be the one doing the talking if there's any talking to be done. We clear?
I love it so much.
Okay then, Gwen, I'll hand it over to you, okay?
All right. We ready to get into this, folks? Everybody ready?
Yes.
Do it.
So, for the audience, those of you that are familiar with me and the way I like to run one-shots is I make a primer that I send to the players to prep them for the one-shot, and we start to get a feel for their characters, and I ask them a few questions. So, this primer for Miami Dice is find Tiago Esperanza in Club Crimson. Learn who he fenced the midnight suitcase to. Then find that suitcase. Miami, 1980X. Sharp-dressed men, beautiful women. A palm tree-filled, sand-covered paradise. A place where business and pleasure intermix into a dirty martini of vice and dream. You are spies. A government transport was hijacked and robbed of a mysterious experimental device known only as the Midnight Suitcase. You've been sent into town to set up shop and get your hands on your criminal informant and intercept the stolen secrets. And you only have 24 hours to do so. So now we're going to determine exactly who is who in this party of secret agents and super spies. I want you to imagine a golf course, luxury, a tall, thin man, clean-shaven head, beautifully groomed beard. He is your superior officer in the agency, the ambiguous agency that you all work for. He is driving, hitting balls 400 yards. It's about 420 meters for our friends in England. Sorry, I do that every time I play on a UK stream where I start doing conversions. So he's hitting as well. I see they've assembled a lot of you. Hey, I told them to send me brains. Which of you is the brains of this outfit? Kind of looks around.
Reese just like nervously raises her hand. I think that might be me.
Reese Wolf, highly decorated.
I mean,
Weren't you the one that did that one thing on the last job? And now I want you to give me an opportunity where you used your superior intellect to solve a mystery on behalf of the agency.
yeah, there was a device that they couldn't quite figure out that probably would have killed a lot of people if it got into the wrong hands, but Reese was able to make heads and tails of it, and turned out that the agency was able to use it for their benefit and didn't kill anybody.
Yeah, he drives another ball 400 yards and he goes, yeah, this agency was probably a coffee maker. Look, we're not too bright. We're a bunch of dum-dums. That's why you're on this case. You're a woman we can trust. We can trust you, can't we, Ms. Wolf?
Yeah, of course. Definitely.
Yeah, he pulls out a cigarette and he offers it to Tony. He goes, Agent Vincetti, great to see you again. Are you muted, Scrat? Or are you just Yeah. He whispers sweet nothings.
What's up? You the boss of this one? You are the boss of this operation?
I'd rather not attach my name to it, if you know what I mean. We're gonna need your skills and contacts to infiltrate this one. You gotta get into Club Crimson.
You know I'll be okay.
They're gonna be sniffing out cops. Are you guys gonna come off like cops?
Do I look like a cop?
Do I look like a cop?
No, you don't. And then he offers a cigarette to Charlie Bazul. He goes, I assume you're the bronze of the operation.
Well, I thought I was here to be the beauty. But whatever. It doesn't matter. You know why I'm here.
And he goes, no, the beauty seems to be spoken for, and his eyes sort of turn over to fella Gilmore. He goes, you new to the agency? Haven't seen you around before.
I mean, I'm pretty new. This is probably my second mission.
Second mission, they giving us greenies? They're giving us greenies, Tony. And he kind of seems, he's a little obnoxious, a little too proud. And you can tell, you can hear Reese's eyes rolling into the back of her head as he says that. And then he goes, well, since you're new to the agency, tell me about your last job. What did you do for us? What landed you this position?
Well, my skills are in speaking with people. I have a way with the ladies and the men. I just bat my eyelashes and speak my sweet southern drawl, and I'm able to talk my way out of anything.
When you say the ladies and the men, he seems to break out into a sweat. Like his forehead creases a little bit, and like he seems a little hot and bothered. And yeah, he flicks a cigarette, stamps it out on the greens. There's like a little man that comes out of a golf cart and starts sweeping it up. Tony, did you have something?
Yeah, wipe yourself up. You're looking a little.
I don't mind. And he's like really getting into it, almost over dramatic, kind of Ballo shining his head, you know, getting it nice and sparkly. And all right, there he goes. You're going to be plain clothes on this. You're going to need to adopt civilian identities. You're going to need to get into Club Crimson. You're going to need to find Tony Esperanza. All of this you know because you heard it in the opening monologue that the narrator said. He spikes the lens and points to the audience at home. And he goes, now, wait, who brought the kid? As he looks at Tiny Tina. What's a kid doing here?
You want a badonka up your ass?
Well, I usually pay good money for that.
Don't want a badonka up your ass.
I hear you're good at fixing things, making things. What have you made? Describe your robot to us.
The robot looks almost the exact same as it, except it's made out of complete metal.
So, one of the interesting things about Cypher system in Numenera in these Monty Cook games is you normally take two common things, mash them up, then add one weird element. So what would be unusual or weird about your robot that would make it unique?
Let's see. It would probably be it's stuffed full of dynamite.
Ah! It's dynamite powered. It's full of gunpowder. Secret ingredient. Yeah, well, this is going to be an interesting case. You have 24 hours. Assume your personas. Get to Club Crimson. Find Mr. Esperanza. And if you get caught, yeah, best to take these pills. And he hands each of you a little red pill. He doesn't say what it does, but he gives you a knowing nod. He goes, pray you never have to use it. And then he takes his club, drives another ball 400 yards. Then we flash forward to the exterior of the nightclub. Club Crimson is a booming scene. Neon lights flash on signs outside, and there is a line of ladies and men and everything in between stretching a mile long to get into the club. How are you going to get in?
I think Fellow would probably just try to flirt with the bouncer or something.
Okay, fella, we're gonna need to work together on this one. You and me, we got the voice. These guys, not so much. We're gonna have to work together and try and get them all in, yeah?
I can do that. You remind me of Burt Reynolds.
I mean, as played by... All right, so, yeah, you kind of cut up. You go to the bouncer. She is large, meaty. She has short braided hair. An impressive figure, you know, powerful build. And she's kind of keeping close eye on everyone that's trying to get in. She's turning a couple people away. And she goes, nope, not suitable attire. Not dressed well enough. She turns as you approach. Kind of sneers. Line starts down there.
Fella looks at Tony and she's like, do you got this one or should I take the lead?
Oh, by all means, you start. I'll pick up after. I'm picking up your accent.
That's great. You're Tony Vinchetti's Southern Belle.
You start up. I'll pick up after.
So, are we walking up, like, kind of cutting in front of the line?
Yeah, describe to me how you do it.
Okay. I would say that Fella kind of, she's got her arm linked with Tony, and she walks up, and I would say they have pretty confident, kind of like that swagger on up. She says, "Good evening, my fine lady."
She kind of turns her head. You can hear an audible crack in her neck as her she's that stiff. And her eyes kind of narrow down at you. She goes, "Good evening, short stuff."
Fella is short.
What you doing with old pencil dick here? As she turns and looks at Tony.
So Tony will just take a cigar from his top pocket.
Yeah.
He'll take a dollar bill from his pocket, light the dollar bill, and just like light the cigar.
He's here to buy the drinks.
She kind of looks. So here's what we're going to do. I'd like you to make an intellect persuasion roll. And for those of you new to Cypher, here's how it works. I'm going to say a task difficulty number. She's going to have to roll 3 times that amount on a 20-sided die. This is a task difficulty of 4. It's not impossible to do, but Mary Mashad, the bouncer of Club Crimson, doesn't particularly like letting people cut the line. However, she's been known to do it for certain choice women. So she is looking over. You're going to get an asset because Tony is with you, meaning that will reduce the difficulty by 1 from 4 to 3. Are you trained in any persuasion roles?
Yes, I'm trained in persuading and pleasant interactions and all forms of deception.
Okay, so this is going to be reduced to a 1. So you need to roll a 20-sided die and get a 3 or higher. So it drops all the way from 4 to 1. You multiply that number by 3, so it should be a relatively easy task. So go ahead and roll a 20-sided die and roll 20. And we'll see if you do it.
My character sheet disappeared. Hang on. Is that the symbol next to the intellect?
Yeah, you can hit the die, or you can simply type /R 1d20, and if you get a 3 or higher, it works. So you rolled a 12. You clearly beat the task difficulty. So she opens the velvet-covered rope between the stanchions, and she motions for you two to go inside. You can hear the loud electric music.
As they're stepping in, Charlie's going to step in behind them and kind of like be the third wheel.
She hip checks you. How do you respond?
Hey, these two ain't going in by themselves. That's why I'm here.
They're not in by themselves. There's over 250 people in that club, Sugar.
You don't want me letting myself in. You think he's going to protect you in there? That's why I'm here.
Can Fella turn to what's her name? Would we know her name?
Mary.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mary. I forgot to mention that my friend here, he just helps me he protects me from all those sleazy men, you know, the types in the club.
You look like you can protect yourself, short stuff.
She kind of like looks at her and kind of like winks a little bit, and she's like, "You're right about that, but it's nice to have a little extra muscle every now and then."
I grab the things on the high shelves.
So make a persuasion check again. This one's going to be a task difficulty 5. We've already gone through your other abilities, so it gets reduced to a 2. So now you need to roll a 6 or higher to convince her to let in Charlie Bazool, because she doesn't seem to particularly want to let him in. Might have to do with the way he's dressed, might have to do with his size. And she's like, he doesn't even like new wave music. Okay, yeah, you totally beat it. And she goes, she sighs heavily, and there's like people in line. They're like, why are they cutting? And who's that?
Just you.
Yeah, someone's like, I hear he's a starting linebacker for the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, he looks it. And yeah, they let you in. Now, Tiny Tina and Reese are kind of the squares off to the side. What are you doing while this goes on?
I think Reese has like kept herself distant from the rest of them, and seeing Fella, Tony, and Charlie get in, she takes this moment and runs forward, and she's like, Excuse me. I'm from the local newspaper. I was supposed to write an article about this club. Here's my credentials because I'm skilled in forgery. So I wanted to see if I could make.
So you're trying to press pass your way in.
Yeah. I even have like a camera hanging around my neck, just like showing my press pass and everything.
Mary kind of looks you up and down, and she goes, now I need you to make a task difficulty 4. Your forgery reduces it to a 3. Do you have anything else that would help?
I have deceiving.
Okay, that'll reduce it to a 2.
Okay, I think, yeah, that's everything I have.
So roll a 20-sided die, and you need to get a 6 or higher. Yep, you totally do it. And she goes, all right, but if you talk to Fernando, he might be able to find a slightly better attire than that plain Jane outfit you have on. I'm just saying for your own benefit, darling.
You know, reporters don't get paid much, but yeah, I will, thank you. And she just like holds her head down and walks inside.
Well, if you ever need to make a little extra money, and she slips you a card, and there is a large pink card on it, and an F for Fernando.
Thank you.
It's honest work, and easy in this town. She nods. Now, what about Tiny Tina?
She's basically gonna walk up with her robot's toolkit, and she's like, Miss, where's the service entrance? I've got some maintenance to do, and it needs to be done, like, right now.
Round back.
And she's gonna go for that one.
She kind of dismisses you. The crowd's really starting to wear on her. So, as Tiny Tina goes around to the back, you notice, while you're alone, 7 cloaked men, and they're wearing cloaks too, like something out of Final Fantasy. You know, it's totally out of place here in Miami. And they kind of spot you coming, then they look at each other, they start walking down the alley quickly. What do you do?
Let's see, she's probably gonna make a mental note of it and then just keep going, because if she does anything else, it might attract attention, and she's not exactly safe on her own. Okay.
You get to the service entrance, and it opens. It goes right into a lavatory. It goes into like a toilet room, a bathroom, and it stinks. It smells like hell in there. It is completely vandalized with all sorts of lipstick and bodily fluids and neon paint. Yeah, it's horrible. This room doesn't look like it's been touched in years.
I'd like to think somewhere in all that mess there's a lipstick Tony was here.
For a good time.
With his lips next to it. For a good time called Tony. Little Sharpie drawing of him. Yes, that's great. Now let's cut into the club. So the rest of you are making your way. There are bodies everywhere on the dance floor. Glittery dresses, popped collars, slicked hair. The latest and greatest hits are being spun by the DJ, and the electric lights are flashing in rapid and rhythmic ways. You were sent here with a purpose. What do you do?
I think Reese pretends like she's like holding her camera up and pretending to zoom in, but not actually snapping any photos.
Yeah. And as you're doing that, like a meaty hand comes on your shoulder, and a tall individual with a crooked nose goes, "Why are you pretending to take photos in the nightclub?"
I'm just making sure my camera is in focus. I want everything to be perfect.
You're gonna want to stop down the aperture to get a sharper image, he says. He goes, you're gonna want to stop it down, but it's pretty dark in here, so make sure you use a flash. And then he starts like explaining the exposure triangle to you. This is the 1980s, so mansplaining was like more prominent than any other decade in American history. And it's just like diarrhea from the mouth. And like, these are things you've known since you were a child. And he's like, and George Washington was the first president of the United States.
Yeah, she's just standing
Johann
there.
Gutenberg invented the printing press. And like, he's going on and on and on, but he's completely boring, but he's kind of cute. In fact, on a scale of 1 to 10, we're going to roll a 10-sided die.
Thank you very much to D&D Page for that £10 donation.
Thank you, Paige.
Nothing attached to it, thank you.
So he's a 4, so he's got some goods in the back, but his face could use a whole lot of work. Now, for Reese, this would be quite a catch, but she has higher standards.
Wow, Grant. Wow.
I'm just calling it like you're at
some goods in the
nightclub.
bag.
Yeah, he does. It's his most prominent feature.
I like it. She's just nodding along, like pretending that she's interested because she's not.
He goes, tell you what, can I get you a drink? And he kind of motions. As he turns his head away, do you slip away into the crowd? Or do you...
Yeah, 100%. I'm trying to keep eyesight on Fella and Tony and Charlie.
Yeah, as his head comes back, you notice he's like, kind of looks around, kind of like a sad boy tear forms. He says, oh man, I thought she was the one. And then we cut back to the camera as Fella and Tony with the large Charlie Bazool are making their way, through the nightclub, moving past the bodies. What's your plan to find Tiago Esperanza?
All right, Tony, I got us in. What's next?
Well, now we find the muscle. They gotta be around here somewhere. You find the muscle?
You.
Nah, not our muscle, Charlie. Not our muscle. Their muscle. Wherever their muscle is, that's where Fernando's gonna
Gotta
be.
try to be clearer about these things, and then
I'm sorry, Charlie. I'm sorry. Okay.
It's all right.
I'll try and do better.
Yeah, I know you will. I know you will.
Fella kind of like leans into Tony and grabs his collar a little bit, and she's like, maybe we should start with some drinks.
Hey, that doesn't sound like such a bad idea.
All right. So do you make your way to the bar?
Definitely.
Or do you ask someone to go fetch you some drinks?
Oh, are there people around fetching? Oh.
Well, here's the thing. If you come off as someone very important, you might tell someone to go get it for you. So you can either, snap your fingers and be like, hey, Buster, go get me some. Or you can walk up to the bar like a common plebe. What would you do?
Oh, 100%. Hey, you. Get us some champagne over here, yeah?
He kind of looks at you and he goes, go F yourself.
Hey.
He gives you turns back.
Hey,
Yeah.
language in front of the lady over here.
Fella's like, oh,
Oh,
yeah.
as soon as he sees Bazool, he stops. And he goes up, he goes, didn't mean nothing by it. I'll
Now
get
go
the
get us some
champagne.
champagne.
All right. And he runs off to go fetch you guys some drinks.
I'm gonna follow him.
All right.
Charlie, he's a good boy. He's a good boy.
He goes up to the bartender. And, he kind of cuts. You see him motioning. He points over to, the glamorous Fella Gilmore and the voluptuous Vincetti. No, he's like this big. Yeah,
he's also stacked
he's
in the back.
Definitely got the shoulder pads in and the he didn't skip on leg day.
he has large thighs. That's his most prominent feature. He has like these drumsticks,
Calves to die for.
Yeah. Just oh man. I mastered one exercise and I stuck with it. Nothing but squats. Yes. All right. Yeah. So, you notice he does it. While this is going on, Bazool, you're one of those guys that I take it kind of has a sense of his surroundings. You worked security before. So it's one of those things you sometimes pick up on what's going on. So I need you to make an intellect roll. If you have anything that gives you any bonuses to perception or noticing hidden things or spotting deceptions, go ahead and make a roll. I'm not going to tell you what the task difficulty is, though.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything to modify it, so it's just going to be a straight roll. Oh, awesome.
While
Just
while you're tailing the guy, a group of three women that have been drinking heavily kind of stumble into you. One of them spills her drink on you and is like, "Oops, whoopsie daisy! Oh my!" And she looks. She's like, "You're an impressive specimen." You know, she says it just like that, almost like a Katharine Hepburn type voice. "Oh my gosh, I wish I had my bicycle." Yeah, but she just kind of like, sees you and she starts kind of like, getting handsy on your arm.
So when this happens, he's gonna turn down to face her, and then she's gonna notice he's just like the left side of his face is gnarled with scars. His eyes almost closed.
Oh,
Are you all right down there?
did you serve in the war? You were a nom,
That's
weren't
funny.
you?
That's funny. You messed up my best T-shirt.
Well, maybe you could take it off, and we get you a new T-shirt. She says, with intentions. She has wine teeth and beer goggles. Like she's had a lot, and as has her friends. They've kind of flocked around you. They've formed a little group around you. They're like, "Man, he's a war hero. We need to get him some drinks. Come on, let's sit you down." And they start kind of like rushing you to the bar. They're trying to just kind of cutesy walk you over there. Do you go with the flow or do you resist?
I'm gonna resist, and I'm going to actually point over to Tony and Fella, and I'm gonna tell him, "You want war stories over there? That's our sergeant over there. You want to hear what's going on? You want to go talk to him? Right over there with his lovely date for the evening."
When you point over to where they were, you notice they're not there anymore. And you kind of look around. You're not too sure how you ended up in this spot of the dance club, and you notice the pattern on the floor has changed. Yeah. It's one of those things where a lot of bodies, a lot of lights. This is not the best environment for Charlie Bazul. Let's cut the camera to Tiny Tina. So you've made your way down a long maintenance hallway. You walk past a kitchen, you walk past a bar, and you are free to go into the main dance floor. However, there are three doors. There's a high door, a lower door, and a door on the floor where you're at. Do you want to go upstairs, downstairs, or straight in?
She's probably gonna send her little servant down the bottom door, and she's gonna go through the middle one herself.
Okay. Your servant goes down through the bottom door and finds themselves in a supplies room. There are boxes and boxes of booze imported from all over the world. There are outfits, a variety of things. There's a cage. There's no people in it. And there's also some unusual literature. With that, Tiny Tina finds herself on the dance floor, and it is dizzying. Everyone's quite a bit bigger than her, and she is in a very crowded part of the club. So as we pop over to Fella and Tony, a man comes back with some champagne for you both. He's like, "Drinks for you."
Fella reaches and grabs one. She's like, "Thank you, dear. Now, can you tell me who's who in this club? Who do I need to talk to know all the cool people?"
I'm a cool guy. Sorry. And he turns to Tony. He goes, it slipped. So you probably want to talk to Mr. Esperanza, but he doesn't just see anybody. He's in the private section. Now, Reese, you pick up on this. I assume you are essentially quietly tailing all interesting conversations as well. Tony, what do you do when he says this? He goes, "You'll need to go up the steps, though, to the private booth."
Well, I mean, yeah, why aren't we up there already? The private booth, that sounds like exactly where we belong.
I I'm not allowed up there. There's some people that are allowed up there and some people that aren't. I happen to be one of the guys that isn't.
So how do we get up there?
You go, they'll let you know. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go find someone to not be so intimidated by. And he like kind of sheeps off, and then he kind of brushes past Reese, and he was like, "Oh," kind of jumps. Then he goes, "Hey," and then kind of grooves his way off. What is love? And he kind of goes off.
As he's walking away, I'll slip a couple of dollar bills into his back pocket.
Cool. So you have glasses of champagne. Do you drink them?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
All right. I need you both to make intellect defense rolls. This is a task difficulty of 4. If you have an inability in this defense, it becomes a 5. This is a mind-altering effect. The bartender put things in your drinks.
Damn it.
Charlie Bazula almost saw it, but he got bumped into by some girls.
Would you consider this check to involve willpower or discipline?
Yes.
Then I have an inability.
I believe Fella does too.
Do I? Or
Do you have an inability to mind-altering effects?
I said I have one where my willpower is not that one of my strong points.
This would apply. This would apply.
Shoot. Looks like we're getting tipsy.
All right, so you needed to beat difficulties of 5. You did not succeed. So you both lose 4 intellect pool points. And you both receive an experience point. And you both get experience points to give to other members of the party. Who would you like to give them to?
I will give mine to Fella, as we are currently partners in crime.
Alright, I'll give mine to Tony then. Just look at each other like, clink, we're
Ching, ching.
screwed.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are starting to feel kind of dizzy. You kind of feel, bodies are kind of dancing with you. You're kind of dancing with the bodies. Reese, you see this going on, but you notice they're not dancing. They're being escorted up the stairs.
It's one way to get up there.
Charlie, you've managed to find your way back to Reese, and Tiny Tina, you've also managed to find your way to Reese and Charlie as well. So Reese, you see they're being escorted by at least 5 individuals.
Yeah, I look at Charlie and Tiny Tina, and I don't know if I can get up there with this press bag that we got inside.
Well, it was easy. Just walk in the rear door.
I might have an idea.
all
Go
right.
get as close as you can to the stairs over there and just wait for it to happen. And I'm gonna walk over to the bartender.
All right. Yeah, Reese does it. She goes over and stands beside it and
Okay.
acts like she's taking pictures.
Are there? I'm assuming there's probably like cast-off glasses along the bar. Like
There are.
okay, so I'm gonna grab one with the most liquid in it,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna say, "Hey, come here!" And I'm gonna yell at the bartender to come over.
It goes, you come here. You notice his hand reach under the bar counter.
This isn't what I ordered. What is this?
It's sex on the beach.
That's
Winks
not what
at
I ordered. That's not what I ordered. Can I get another drink over here? And I'm gonna kind of shake the glass at him. But I'm not approaching him.
What do you need? What do you need?
Just whiskey, neat.
Yeah. I'll get you a whiskey. And he comes over with a whiskey and he starts pouring for you.
And then when he does that, I'm just gonna kind of like reach up behind him and slam him into the bar real quick.
Oh, all right. So, might check. It's a task difficulty of 2. You're probably trained in something. You might even reduce this to a 0, and it'll be automatic.
One thing that I have in mind that I wanted to use was my where is it? trained in intimidation and any fear-based interactions.
Yeah. You knock him out cold as you smash his head on the counter. He is completely unconscious. His nose is broken. His teeth are cracked.
Did anyone see me do this, or was it just kind of done so quickly that it went unnoticed?
You notice like 2 people at the bar saw you do that, and they're like, "Holy shish kebabs!" And they kind of look at each other, and then there's you see a man far at the end of the bar. He seems like it went on. He touches what looks like an earpiece, cups his hand over his mouth, speaks, turns, and starts walking quickly. Now, Reese, you just saw Charlie Bazool smash a man's face on the bar. Your Tony and Fella are being escorted up the stairs. Now, Tony and Fella, you're up the stairs now. You still kind of have your wits. You just currently are a little more enabled, and you're brought to a table. There are 4 beautiful women, 4 beautiful men, and a very handsome Cuban man sitting at the table. They seem to be engrossed in conversation about the U.S. boycotting the USSR boycotting the Los Angeles Summer Games this year, and so and they're talking about Iran-Contra and a lot of the tension going on in the world. And as you come up, they halt their conversation. And they go, "Who are these 2?"
Benny Bincelli. Yeah, Benny Bincelli. I'm here. I'm a bit of a big deal. We're gonna want to have a conversation. We're gonna have one now.
Do I know you?
You wanna know me? I got information.
Yeah, one of the women goes, "I think I want to know him," and then like one of the men goes, "Yeah, me too." And then, Fella, you were going to speak?
Oh, she was just gonna take more of like, she's gonna put her hand on his chest and be like, "My friend here," and then she kind of looks at like you said a Cuban gentleman?
Yeah,
goes,
that's Tiago. You recognize him from the dossier.
Yeah, as she has her hand on Tony's chest, she's like, "My friend here," and then she stares at him and like notices him up close for the first time. She's like, "What a tall drink of water you are."
The tallest, he says.
And
he
then
licks his lips.
She just kind of like swoons. Could be the Hathaway playing in the background, could be the champagne.
Yeah.
But she's just like, "We'd like to have a polite discussion with y'all."
About what? He says as he takes a long drag off his cigarette. He's not smoking a Cuban cigar. And then he flicks it, and it lands. It bounces off your dress, and there's some snickering when they say that.
She like looks down. She's like, "My, that was not very polite.
Not a polite person.
This dress was expensive. It's like a totally sequenced all black like cocktail dress."
Yeah, and he goes, "You don't know what expensive is. I could buy and sell that dress 200 million times over."
Fella like
it looks great on you though. Yeah, he does say, he goes, "It looks great on you though. In fact, on you, I think that dress goes up in value 1,000-fold."
And she just kind of like, she's like, "Oh."
Yeah. Mr. Bincelli, you and I have business to discuss like men. He stands up from essentially this like padded sort of circular sofa he's been sitting on. And he stands, when he stands, he rises about a foot taller than you. Fully standing, he looks like he could be playing for the New York Knicks. He's like a professional basketball player height. And he sort of looks down at you. He goes, "Talk." And he starts speaking fluent Spanish to you. Do you speak Spanish?
I don't speak none of that rubbish. Come on, speak to me in English. Or even better yet, speak to me in money. Let's talk cocaine.
Cocaine.
I'm going to use my fast talk. My spin identity. My spin identity to convince him that I'm a big time cocaine dealer.
He buys it. He goes, in the back, in the back, in the back, and they open a door, and he invites you into the back. Now, Reese, fella, or Reese, yep. So, fella, the men and the women invite you to sit down with them, and they offer you some drinks, and they want to hear all about who you are, where you got the dress, and a little more about Mr. Bencelli. So what do you tell them about Benny Bencelli while he's taken into the back?
Oh, Benny, he's just a sweetheart. He's my sugar daddy. He bought me this dress and these pumps. And then she kind of moves her ankles around. You see these really nice strappy heels.
Yeah. There's like a bush-haired woman who kind of leans forward too. They go, "Oh, they're to die for," and she just kind of lumps over. Yeah.
She's like, "Aren't they just fabulous? He's got a real eye for fashion."
He does. He looks like he has a real eye for all sorts of things. In fact, he just blatantly speaks about drugs when there's a war against drugs going on. My goodness, that's great. And they go, he's so carefree. Meanwhile, Mr. Bazul, Tiny Tina, and Reese. Charlie, you're over at the bar right now, right? Did you walk back over to Reese? Reese, you're at the bottom of the stairs. And you see 2 of the 5 men who escorted Fella and Tony up. They're touching their ears, and they look like they're getting ready to draw something out of their jackets as they come down, and they're making their way quickly down the stairs. You also notice out of the back room where Tiny Tina came out, 2 more men that also are coming out. They're walking quickly, and they actually draw weapons as they're moving through the club.
The ones coming down the stairs, I'm gonna quickly look at my camera and go, Miami Tribune, say cheese, and I'm just gonna start flashing.
Okay, they're blinded by that.
Yeah.
Now let's cut to the back room. Now Charlie, what are you doing after you smashed the guy's face? You did notice that it looks like security had noticed.
Well, my intention was to pull some of the security away from the escort down to the bar area.
Yeah.
So once I see that happening, then I'm going to kind of just tuck away into the crowd and get to one of the corners of the room where I can try to blend in.
So now you are a massive individual comparatively to most of the bodies that are dancing in this club. However, there's some big guys in here too. So where do you want to slip into in this nightclub?
Probably going to find the most crowded booth I can with people so that I can just kind of tuck in with them. And I'm going to use my, so let's see.
Well, describe to me what you want to do, and then we can see if there's any ability.
Just kind of back up into the crowd of people and just kind of slip in, and I'm a part of another group.
Okay, make an intellect check. It's it's a task difficulty 6.
All right, and then can I use my let's see, trained in disguise and stealth tasks?
Yes. That'll reduce it to a 5. So you currently need a 15 or higher. Now you can spend what's called effort. Unless you have edge, you can spend 3 points from your intellect pool to reduce it to a 4. The point of Cypher is to show your desire to win. That's why you burn what in other games would be considered your hit points. You're putting your own vital life force on the line to succeed at things. So,
okay. So then I'll burn the intellect pool, 3 out of my intellect pool.
Okay.
So then that puts me at a 12.
Yep. So you need to roll a d20, 12 or higher. I won. Wait, no, you put a space between the d and the 20. So.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Lucky you.
All right. It was worth a shot.
A 9. So it didn't quite work out for you. So you notice that there are men with armed weapons starting to close in on you. They've formed a circle around you. They're getting in. This is probably going to turn, the dance floor is almost clearing out around you as well. Tina, however, or Reese has blinded a few men, and they've stumbled and they've lost sight of you. In fact, they're having a hard time seeing at all. Now, Tiny Tina, what are you doing while this goes on? Now, your robot has managed to find literature written in foreign languages. If it's skilled in deciphering foreign languages, it might be able to read what's going on. These are clearly not from around here. It's unlike any language that Tony speaks. And it appears to be maps, documents, diagrams. These are clearly government documents.
Okay, let's see. I think it's like the same as me as far as training and stuff, so the only thing I would actually have is the asset of my useless trivia, which decreases the difficulty of any lore or knowledge task by 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
All right. So go ahead. I'm not going to tell you what the difficulty is, but go ahead and roll a d20, and I'll tell you what you can come up with out of this.
Sure. There we go.
All right. So it's a critical success, which means there's going to be a major effect. This means we're going to impact the narrative of the game based on your role. So not only do you decipher the language, I'm going to let you say you get information out of this that you want. I'm going to let you ask me any question about the story going on in the game right now, and I must answer it truthfully. And also, you get to pick one thing in the paperwork that you've uncovered that will be useful to you, and you get to say what it is. Like, it's the location of where the stolen supplies were going, or we'll learn what it's being used for, or the name of an individual connected with this. So you're allowed to ask me one question, and you can also apply a story effect.
Let's see.
Got the dance going.
Those 7 individuals that I saw in the alley, how are they connected?
You know that this is what you know. They are mechanics that are souping up a speedboat so that it can go at almost supersonic speeds. That means it's a boat that can almost break the sound barrier. Fashion. And that boat must be connected with what is going on. Either they're using it to get away, they're using it to get to a transport, they're going to load equipment in it. But you recognize a logo on the paperwork matches a logo that was on the cloaks that those guys were wearing. They were more like ponchos.
Okay. See, and then I have the other story effects, right?
Yes. Well, that's the... Okay, yeah. And then a story effect. So what information do you want in those documents you found that would be useful to you to solving the mystery?
Let's see. Probably the transaction details.
Okay. This is what you know. Tony's guys managed to, or Tiago's guys managed to get the equipment. They also hit up 2 other government facilities around the world. And these devices, when combined, can create what some would classify as a doomsday weapon of mass destruction. And Tiago is not aware of that. He just thought he was making a cool $1 million in 1984. With that, we're going to cut the camera to Tony, who is now Benny Bencelli, and Tiago Esperanza in the back room as you're dancing with each other. Yeah. I love this song.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Now, let's talk cocaine, yeah? We want to get this thing done. Let's talk deals, okay? Where do we put the cases? Where do we put the money? We got lots of cocaine to shift. Give me all your locations. Let's do this.
There is a container up in Gainesville. It's quite a bit north. It's just in a warehouse. You drop it there. My guys pick it up. And we pay.
Well, it sounds like this was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Tiago.
Drugs isn't difficult.
You can say that again. Easy money.
But he's kind of looking at you and he goes, "Why don't I know you?"
I'm new in town. I come from way further north than Gainesville, let me tell you that, okay?
Where do you come from? You're gonna have to deceive him.
That's fine. I'm gonna convince.
It's a task difficulty 7.
Ooh, well, I'm gonna use my levity first to take that. I'm trained in everything that doesn't involve coercion or intimidation. I'm not trying to coerce him or intimidate, right?
Yeah, you're not trying to intimidate him. You're just trying to tell him a quick lie. You're a drug dealer from up north, and he doesn't deal with those up north guys.
Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna give him a quick 6 there. And yeah, let's see how the dice roll goes, I guess. Now.
So you need an 18 or higher. You can also spend effort that will reduce it to a 5. It'll come from your intellect pool. If you have edge and intellect, you only need to spend 2 points instead of 3.
I don't know if I do or not, because I took the speaker class. I didn't update that bit.
You probably do. You can put the edge in one edge in might, intellect, or speed. I think it would be in intellect.
Okay, I've got the same like speed and intellect, so I'll chuck it in edge because that's useful. I'll use that.
All right, so you'll spend 2 points from your pool. That'll reduce it to a 5. You now need to beat a 15 or higher. And you may have a Cypher or an asset that will help you. Do you have any assets? Like I dealt you 2 asset cards. You can look at them. You might have one that will help you in this situation.
Oh,
I don't know.
I didn't even look at these. Hang on.
I know, right? They're cool. So for the audience, Cyphers are one-use items that can completely change the course of the game. Assets are things that might help you in a situation, like a crowbar to open a stuck door.
Or what I just used.
I've got an oratory card from the asset deck, which the difficulty of any interaction task made to influence or persuade more than one person or creature is decreased. I mean, he's only one person. Is that okay?
Yep.
Cool.
I'll let it work because you were in a group earlier. You can go ahead and apply it.
Awesome.
It'll reduce to 4.
Oh,
that doesn't beat it. He looks at you and he goes, "You're an effing Fed." And he like sees right through you for a second, sees you, pierces you. With that said, as Bazul's getting surrounded by these 4 individuals with the drawn guns and fellas showing off her impressive pumps, an individual comes through the front door, long black trench coat, automatic weapon in hand, glasses on, and begins opening fire at the individuals who are approaching Bazul. You haven't seen anything like this before, and he's just firing. The crowd starts screaming. The music is intensifying. And a mysterious armed assassin has come in and is attempting to take out the security in this club. I need to know what everybody does. So let's start with Bazul, since you are practically getting shot at. In fact, I need you to make a speed defense check, test difficulty 4, to avoid getting shot. If you have anything that helps you in like speed defense, let me.
Muted?
There it is.
17, that'll do it. You dodged the bullets. You are muted.
See, I'm gonna hit the deck and just start
Alright.
mumbling under my breath. God damn it! What? And just kind of scramble for the bar. I want to get behind the bar.
All right. Yeah, so you're making your way. You get behind the bar. Tiny Tina, your robots come back with this paperwork and the documents, as well as links and connections. What do you do? You are muted.
Yeah, I know. I saw it. To avoid getting crushed, she's gonna press against the wall. Seeing as she's tiny, yeah, she's gonna need to. And she's gonna quickly flip through the pages like, oh shit. And she's gonna pull on Reese's trousers to get her attention.
Okay. Reese, there is a madman with a gun. He has assassinated, it looks like, all 4 members of the armed security that were approaching Bazul. He has gunned and murdered every single one, and he's making a beeline for the stairs, walking towards you, just manning his way through the crowd.
I think Reese goes to dive under the nearest table, sort of grabbing Tiny Tina with her.
Okay.
To protect both of them. Yeah.
You guys get under the table. Now, Fella, you see, you hear loud screams over the loud music in the club, and your group looks terrified. But all the women reach into their purses and pull out what look like sais from Ninja Turtle, like Raphael's weapon. They pull out these exotic weapons, and then, the bushy-haired woman pulls out, a katana from her hair. They get ready. The bow staff comes up. Yeah, they seriously, yes, just like.
That's impressive.
And their eyes all flash and begin to glow blue slightly. And they are all taking defensive positions as this trench-coated figure with the automatic weapon is making its way up the stairs. What do you do?
Are they just... So this figure is coming up the stairs towards where I'm at?
Yes, it is going right up the stairs. Your only guess is it's making its way to Tiago Esperanza.
So, and he's in the back with Tony, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they're not making defensive stances towards me. They're more just keeping their eyes on...
It looks like they're going to protect the door.
Okay, well, would Fella be able to kind of sneak back towards the door to maybe grab Tony and warn him?
You could completely go into that back room right now.
Okay, so she's like, well, excuse me, and she just kind of saunters that way real quick.
Okay, you are now in the back room. Now, Tony, you have just been busted by Tiago Esperanza. Fella comes through the door and he looks. He's like, "You deceived me. That dress was purchased with taxpayer money."
Now, hold on a minute, Tiago. If I was a cop and if I was not a cop, that doesn't change a thing. You still need to tell me all sorts of information. And he's going to take a hanky and just start playing with it. And he's going to start folding it and stuff. And what he's going to do is he's going to enthrall Tiago so that Tiago
He's enthralled.
cannot do anything except take defensive actions. He takes no actions. And he's going to talk. Just fast talking.
Yeah, you have him. He's stuck. He's buying into it.
He's bobbing his head still as he's doing this.
All right.
Well, I would imagine Fella's watching this. She bursts through the door, is a little insulted by the dress comment.
Yeah.
And then she said, right, darling, there's a big cloaked figure coming up the stairs. He's got a big gun. We better address that.
Well, yeah, he's gonna keep talking, but still looking. Tiago, yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Completely
He's
agree.
like, yeah, babe, I got it.
Maybe you could check out this. Maybe you could check out this office while me and Mr. Tiago here, while we have this little conversation. Maybe you could just quickly rummage around.
I could take a quick little gander around, see what my pretty little head could find.
While this is all happening, is there a chance for Charlie to kind of start shadowing him up the stairs?
Yeah. That's totally what works. In fact, you're over halfway there by this point. Like you're making your way up. Now he is all the way up the stairs. The music cuts out, and then you just hear 8 loud thuds hit the ground, and the door kicks open. Gun is drawn, and he starts firing. Tiago, who's standing motionless, who can take defensive actions, tries to get out of the way, but is shot and riddled with bullets, and drops to the ground, falling in a heap. The figure with the automatic weapon turns and faces the two of you. Readies his gun and prepares to fire. I need both of you to make speed defense checks. Charlie, by this point, you are all the way up the stairs, and you can see the back of him through the door. But I need Tony and Fella to make speed defense rolls. This is task difficulty 4.
Can Tina grab a couple of guns from the dead security guards?
Yep, absolutely.
Nice.
Sorry.
She's gonna start tinkering with them.
You can use your XP to re-roll if you'd like.
Yeah. How do I do the speed defense one? Like I just see speed on here.
Even if you just do a speed check, that works.
Okay. So I can re-roll?
Yes. Yeah, by you spending your experience point you got earlier.
Yay!
So yes, you both dodge. In fact, Tony dodges in almost an expert fashion. All right, Tina, you've got a gun. Reese, what are you doing while this goes on?
I think she's waiting for like a moment that like everything is stopped, and when she sees that, she's also following Charlie.
People are rushing out the clubs. The robot comes to and it hands you the paperwork it found. You immediately like decipher this with your, and you're like, oh yeah, this is written in code. And you're like, yep, I got what's going on. So you're about halfway up the stairs. Charlie, the assassin's back is to you. What do you do?
What I want to do is just kind of bum rush him or her.
It's a him.
Put him into like a submission lock from behind, kind of like up underneath the arm.
Choke him.
The primary hand on the weapon's gonna have to pull the weapon back and just like.
Okay, so like a half Nelson, just pull it back. All right, so go ahead and make a might task difficulty 5. So you probably have skills that'll reduce it.
What happened? Where'd they go? Awesome. Would the trained in intimidation and fear-based interactions lower it at all?
Intimidation, no. This is like a physical check. So you are just, not trying to intimidate him, you're trying to put him down. Are you trained in fighting or brawling at all?
What I can use is my bash. It's a pummeling melee attack. Dazes the target for 1 round.
Let me take a look at some of this. So there's a couple. So
I don't want to knock him.
I know what you're saying.
Or anything right now. I just want to subdue him. I
assure you, this man would not be knocked out in a single blow from you.
Okay, so then just the might roll from behind, I guess, just trying to subdue.
All right, so task difficulty 5.
Sorry.
It's okay. Just D20. Let me know if you get 15 or higher. So you do not. As you come over to get him in the submission hold, he chucks you over his shoulder, almost like effortlessly. And when you touched him, he felt like solid iron, just, and you go crashing into the wall. You don't take damage, and you spring back up. But he has this weapon, and he is firing. Now, with that said, Reese, you and Tina are now at the top of the stairs. What do you do?
Hey Grant, do you have to do anything anything special to use a cipher?
Nope, you just use it.
Okay, I'd like to use a cipher.
Go right ahead. Describe the cipher to us.
So make sure I'm doing this right. I have one. It's a
You can-
taser-like contraption.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I think she takes it out of her bag and fires out and touches the guy, and it the power for it is grenade recursion.
So go ahead and go ahead and play the card down so we can see it. So just take it from your hand and drop it on the play area, and then we'll look at it.
Okay, so it's this one.
All right,
this
and
is power.
okay, so you pull out a taser, and then it explodes, and creating a momentary and opposite gate. He gets sucked into a random recursion, so it's going to suck him into another dimension. He gets zapped out of existence. He is no longer there.
And Reese looks around the room and goes, "You're welcome."
Now, the thing about this though is once you use a cipher, it's gone, right? So that is what happens from that. And so I will take these cards back into the deck and go back and shuffle. But for those watching, they might say, "Whoa, what happened? Did they just defeat the boss fight and with a single blow?" Yes, that is essentially the magic of Cypher system, where the point of the game is discovery and story as opposed to combat. So you just he's obliterated from existence and he's gone, just that easy. And Tiago's like dying on the ground. He's like spitting up blood. He's talking. Tina's there, Fella's there, Tony's there, and he's on the ground. What do you do? Okay.
I also have an asset I'd like to use to go help him.
Okay, what is it?
Healing insight. I have the difficulty of any healing task is decreased by 1 step.
Okay, so he is riddled with bullets from automatic weapons. So you can cover his wounds. His insides are shredded, though. So if you have a medical device that would essentially
I don't really
stabilize him.
I don't want to save his life as much as I want to keep him like alive long enough so like Tony and Fella can question him and get in.
I will say this: you can ask him. Each player can ask him 1 question before he dies, and Tony and Fella can ask him 2.
Ooh.
So let's start with Fella. Go ahead and ask your first question, because he's dying on the ground.
And refresh my memory. What were we looking for from him specifically?
The location of the midnight suitcase and where it went to.
I feel like the obvious question is just she's like, I don't die, darling. Where's the midnight suitcase?
We sent it to the docks. It's at the docks. It's gonna be loaded onto a boat.
What boat? How do I find the boat?
Tina's rushing off towards the boat already.
All right.
It's going to be shaped like a pink flamingo. Don't laugh.
I was like, right. And then she looks up at Tony and she's like, well,
I mean, which docks? Which docks? Dock, which dock?
It's going to be Doc 8675309.
8675309. Got it.
A good time called Tony.
Okay.
All right.
Do we have any more
Charlie
questions?
can ask- Yeah, Charlie can ask a question if you'd like. He's muted. Let me unmute him.
Do you have anything you can give us to help get through your guys at the docks, or we have to go through all this yammering back and forth. I don't like talking to people so much. I want
They aren't my guys, he says as his eyes roll into the back of his head. And Tony, you're allowed to ask him one last question before he passes on.
He doesn't. He doesn't know questions. Okay, let's get to the ducks.
All right. White. So Tina's rushing to the docks, and she is far ahead. I assume the robot's helping her travel at a faster speed. The rest of you, how are you getting to the docks? Describe how your vehicle looks, because you're not going to go on foot, especially not in those pumps, fella. So it's like, are you driving a Ferrari, a Porsche, a Lamborghini? This is the 80s. Describe your flashing car. What about it makes it cool?
Oh yeah, it's a totally flashy car. What color would it be? Because I would imagine she'd be riding with Tony's character.
Well, that's just it. Who drives? Do you let Tony drive, or does someone else drive? Who's the wheelman? Or
Oh no, she like, I would imagine they're like running to the car, and he's about to climb in the driver's seat, and she's like, "No, darling, let me do this," and she hops in.
Fella takes the wheel.
It's a racing green, like Japanese sports drift car, like with white
And the
racing
80s
stripes.
too. It's like Toyota before their revolution. So it's like it's like a literal box.
Full boxes.
No, wait. No, this is what it is.
Initial
It
D.
looks like
Initial D.
yeah. It looks like a modern Japanese drift sports car in the 1980s. So it's like completely out of place. You know, it's like something out of Knight Rider. You know, inside the dash. Almost like a 92 Mazda RX-7. So it's hip. Yeah, so
Let's go for an A-series Skyline if we're doing it. Let's do it. A-series Skyline. Right,
we're
there
doing
is.
it.
So what's really interesting about it too is that it's Tony's car, but as she gets in and she like turns the ignition, all of a sudden girls just want to have fun is like blaring, and
Yeah.
she just like looks over at him and she's like, "Rat."
Yep.
He's just dancing. Just dancing to it.
Yeah,
And that's the theme song, yes. And like I like it because like
that's
large
like our montage
Bazoo-
right now. Is like,
Who rides shotgun with her? Is it Tony? I just picture like Bazool in the back, and he's like big, you know,
just
It's
like
comical.
burly.
Yes.
My knees are like up
Yeah.
here. You know, like I don't like being in here. I feel like I'm in a car seat.
Reese is probably like squished against the window. Like,
So
Yes.
Despite all of this, she hears Charlie going, "I just wanna."
That was fun.
I like as well, like
Gotta
Tony's gonna lean back and be like, "Have you guys got enough room back there?" And he's like fully reclined all the way back. Like, "You guys okay? Good. I'm glad. I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah,
Let's
you've
go."
got to rock the Cyndi Lauper. So you are coming up on the docks now. Tiny Tina, you have gotten there first, and you see there are a wide variety of boats, but there is one that is shaped like a giant pink flamingo. And there's a couple things as you approach the dock, and your robot points this out. There are an excessive amount of cameras pointing down from the buildings at all the passageways. There are lights in all the obvious routes, and there is an armored guard patrolling the area. What do you do? There's cameras, lights. Scratch got it. There's cameras, lights, and patrolling guards. How do you deal with each of these things?
Let's see. Are the rooftops lit up?
The rooftops are not, just the streets.
She's going over the rooftops.
You're going on the rooftops now. Go ahead and make a speed task difficulty 5 roll. So you need to roll a 15 or higher. If you have anything that allows you to be extra stealthy, you may use that to reduce the task by 1 step per item.
Don't really have anything that gives me stealth or so.
Okay, so go ahead and just make a straight roll. and we'll see what happens.
I will be sacrificing some speed points.
Effort?
Right?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So, not enough. So you would have needed a
I
12.
haven't rolled yet.
Oh, that's Keltz's. Sorry.
Yeah.
Do you like that? Grant's like, you already
Oh
failed.
god.
Yeah.
They're relative. Fuck me.
Do you have any experience that allows you to re-roll?
Nope.
All right. Well, as you're going up, a camera spots you climbing up, and the building you're on, a red spotlight from above, and you notice almost a silent hot air balloon that looked like a cloud spots a light on you. It's like a ridiculous blimp that's just kind of floating. And you guys, as you're approaching the docks, you see this red pillar of light hit the top of a roof. How do you want to approach the docks? Now, you're pretty sure it'll be guarded. You don't have as much details as Tina. Are you going to drive and just crash towards the dock with the pink flamingo, or are you going to try to sneak your way in?
Oh, I think like Fella being the not so great at planning, she just kind of like zoom, like the car goes right into the docks, and like Cindy Lauper's just blaring, and
like armed guards are jumping out of the way. They're shooting bullets.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make a speed test difficulty 4 check, because they're trying to gun down your car. We'll see what happens, but essentially they're trying to shoot out your tires. Yeah, they're trying to do a number on you. So go ahead to see if you can get your way up there.
Okay.
Well, Daddy did still
No.
number one.
No.
No.
Now you have you had 2 experience, so I believe
I could
you'll have
re-roll.
1 that'll allow you to re-roll.
Yeah, we'll try that.
So that works. Yeah. So you dodge in, and you come crashing right through the docks. There are 4 individuals wearing black cloaks like you saw from earlier, and they just turn and look at you. And they're like, go, go, go. And they're like trying to finish loading some crates onto their flamingo boat and get out of there. Meanwhile, tiny Tina, who has set off an alarm, what do you do? So you notice though that all the guards that would be coming after you are completely distracted by this mad, insane, A-series skyline that just goes careening through the streets and crashing into a dock. And you recognize it's your friends. These are your fellow agents that just go crashing through.
Let's see. She would be grabbing the gun she grabbed, and she's gonna. Let's see. How big is that blimp?
It's about 10 feet across. It's not very big. It's just kind of like a little spy balloon. And like as you pull out your gun, they're like, no. Like they're like waving their hands. They're like, no. And they turn off their light. They try to raise altitude. They don't have weapons up there.
She's gonna rush straight for the boat.
All right, yeah, so you're making your way across the rooftops. Meanwhile, those of you, what are you doing to delay these mysterious criminals' efforts to quickly load their ship and get out of there? I need to know what each of you do to try to stop them.
I think so.
How far are we from where the skyline crashed, where they're at?
You are about 30 feet from them. And here's how combat works in Cypher. You're only ever allowed to do one thing. There's no action economy like D&D. So you can move, you can attack, you can tackle, you can use a Cypher. You can do one thing, unless you're fleet of foot, which will let you like move and attack.
So I think I want to use one of my ciphers right now.
All right, play that card and let's walk through it.
So let's see. The mental scrambler.
Ooh, let's look at it. Forgetting mental scrambler. So 2 rounds after being activated, the device creates an invisible field that fills an area within short range and lasts for 1 minute. The field scrambles the mental processes of all thinking creatures so that they have partial amnesia. So here's what I'm going to let you do. If you spend 3 points of intellect effort, I'll let you expedite how quickly this goes off.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. I think I have that. Hang on. Yeah.
So yeah, you can definitely get that on them. So
I just want to like hop out of the skyline, like kind of fumbling out, climbing over Vince, and I'm just gonna scream something just completely nonsensical at him, like they forgot to shut the back door, blah 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 blah, and then boom.
Yep. Yeah. So you kind of roll out, and it hits them, and they're like, "Ooh!" and they kind of stop for a second. Now, what does Reese do?
I think Reese is going to try to use, like, as she gets out of the car, use her onslaught and attack one of them.
Ooh. All right. So go ahead and describe how this looks and the effect that this has.
So
It's like a mental attack of some sort.
yeah, I'm going to use the mental part of it because you can do
Okay.
either for physical or mental. I want to use mental.
Okay.
I think that she has another little gadget that sort of looks like a ray gun, but like a very like jury rigged one, and she takes it out and just sort of aims it very like carefully, still with shaking hands, and fires off, and you can actually sort of see the waves at like against the space that we're in.
All right. And how does this say this works on the other individuals? So
You attack her within short range.
okay. So here's what you do.
If the attack is mental,
Make an intellect attack roll. The task difficulty is 2.
okay, awesome.
So you need to beat a 6 or higher. Yep, you do that. In fact, there's also a minor effect, so you do an additional 2 points of damage. And essentially, and essentially, not that he was wearing any, but this is enough to take him out completely. So he just, drops like a sack of potatoes.
Awesome.
Glory be. Yes. Fella, what do you do?
So watching all this happen now, who do I see standing in front of me? Like I'm just like one leg kind of creeping out the car door.
There's 2 dudes that look dumbfounded. They were loading crates onto a pink flamingo boat from a dock. That boat looks like it's getting ready to fire up and take away. It's trying to get out of there quickly. Meanwhile, behind you can see mobs of armed foot soldiers, running towards the dock that you stormed. Essentially, there must be 40 or 50 guys out there. A small army.
Oh goodness. So between myself and the dock, there's only 2 bad guys per se.
Well, yeah, you knocked out the rest of them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, she's gonna kind of roll out of the car and try to start running down towards the dock, and then she I think she has a light weapon. So can she pull out something like a very sleek little gun and just try to take out one of the 2 that are there?
So go ahead and make a speed attack roll. It's a task difficulty of 2. So if you're trained in light weapons, it'll be a task difficulty 1, which means you need 3 or higher. All right, and you have a special effect too. So that's enough to take that guy out. Just pew, and down he goes. So there are now no more, or no, I think there's one more guy. Tony, it's your turn.
So Tony's sort of looking around, and he's looking for the pink flamingo ship. Can you see it?
Oh yes, you can see.
Yeah.
It's getting ready to set sail.
Yeah. Okay, that's what he thought. So and he can see where the the cabin room is, where the like control room where the you know the big steery thing is gonna be and all the controls?
Yeah, there's a door in the back. Yeah.
What, right.
You can't see into it, but yeah.
Well, I can't at the moment, but when I play the Cypher, and I think it I'm trying to figure it out. There's lots of long words in there, but I think it opens a door to another location. I've just dropped it on the deck now. Transvolution.
Okay, so. All right, so once activated, a process requiring 2 rounds of setup. If you spend 2 points of intellect, I'll let you do it immediately. So here's what it means. By recursion, it means different. Those are like different dimensions. But for the purpose of this game, I would let you essentially open the door and get into where you need to go. So you can like set up a door in front of you and then step out through the door on the other side. It's kind of like an instant door teleporter.
Yeah, I'll use that to intellect, and I'd like to do it near Charlie, and just be like, "Stop him, Charlie."
Okay, cool. Yeah, totally works. So you do that, and you set up the door and open it in front of Charlie. Now, Tiny Tina, you've made your way. You're ahead of the armored guards. You notice your robot is acting extremely strange as it's approaching the warehouse that houses the Pink Flamingo vessel, that dock. It's picking up, it's almost as if it's picking up weird signals. Sounds like a coded message of some sorts coming through it. A lot of rivets, pops, tones.
She's gonna try to decipher it.
Make an intellect task 6 roll.
I have both useless trivia, which can decrease the difficulty. Does it help?
It's not useless trivia though.
Okay. And then I have under fire. Any task during combat other than attacking or defending is decreased by 1 step.
Yep, you can do that. So it'll be a 5, so 15 or higher.
Let's see. Oh, that doesn't matter. Okay, I'm gonna spend some effort for it. So make it a 4.
Yes. You do it. So
Nice.
you start to listen. You can tell this is machine language that is being sent from a much higher device to a receiver down low, and your robot is intercepting the signal. So there is something being projected from up high to the dock, and your robot has picked up on the signal. And you're making up that it's essentially these are ignition codes to launch the pink vessel. Scrat's not back, but we'll let Charlie go. So you have this open gateway in front of you, and you can now see inside the cabin. So yeah, you can sort of see the back of like a pilot at a wheel getting ready to steer the ship. You are muted.
Can I see how many people are in the cabin, or just the one pilot? So
Yeah.
I'll step through and just kind of cold cock and knock him out.
Okay, you
I want
step
to
through.
take command of the vessel.
All right. You go ahead and cold clock, knock him out. And as you go up, you hit it, you bash. You see it's like a mannequin that's there. And you just knock it over. And with that, from your position, you look, you see another Pink Flamingo ship shoot out of another dock. And it's shooting off very fast. What do you all do?
Can I step back through the door I came through?
No, it's a Cypher. It's one use. You cannot. It's gone now.
Is the vessel I'm in, is it a real vessel?
Yep.
Can I fire that up?
Yep. He's starting the engines.
Yeah, I want to take off after
motor.
it.
Are you gonna wait for your guys to jump on, or are you just gonna leave them in your dust?
Well, I assume there's some kind of, I'm not gonna be able to just Montezuma out of that thing. I gotta kind of trolley up a little bit.
Well,
I'm assuming that people saw me where I went. And
yeah. They saw you. Yeah. Now, to be fair, they can't see what's going on. You guys noticed the boat's taking off after Charlie went inside. It's getting ready to. It's firing it up. What do the rest of you do?
Is the skyline still drivable?
Yeah, it's in pretty bad condition though.
I'll hop in it to try and make the jump onto the boat.
All right, yeah. Do a speed task 3. Woo! Better get it. You better go.
If anyone else wants to hop in, they're welcome to.
A fellow would totally join you, and I think also I have like just an object that would be like of high monetary value. I would imagine it's like a universal remote, and so fella just like flips on, and then Take On Me starts playing from one of the boats.
Take on me.
You just see Reese like standing there like.
Where do I put this in the expense report?
Yeah.
I just wanted to read a book. And she just like finally like relents and gets in the car.
All right, Tony, narrate how you make the jump onto the boat. Yeah, and the boat starts taking off and it starts picking up speed, and you just got it, make the jump.
So like, there's going to be a massive like drag as the back end comes out as I'm like lining up for the boat, like lots of smoke and everything, and then it's going to like kick in and sort of go up the thing. He's not the best driver though, so he's going to go up the ramp and sort of turn the wheel a little bit. So it's going to like turn and come off the ramp sort of half sideways and sort of barrel roll and crash onto the boat.
Yeah, as you're steering the boat and picking it up, you just feel, the back leads way down, then it kind of rocks forward, and you're like, whoa, as this car comes careening on. Now, the vessel you are attempting to catch is moving much faster than you. What are you going to do to attempt to close on it? You can attempt to, drive the boat faster, full throttle it, and stress the engines. You can attempt to try to cut it off. You can try to navigate the waters more adeptly. What do you do? So go ahead and tell me.
Muted.
Charlie is muted.
Do I see any kind of course that will put me in an intercept course with it? Can I track some smaller boats or something?
Intellect task 3.
That's not good.
So you need a 9 or higher. You have more of a chance to succeed than to fail.
Okay.
And you can spend intellect points to try to. I don't know how many you have left.
I've only got 2 left, so I don't think it's gonna.
Well, let me explain how recovery works. You can spend a 1d6 plus 1 now, and you can recover that many points into any pool, however you. Anyone can do that.
So 1d6.
Yep, 1d6 plus 1. So you and add 1, so you recover 4 points. So if you wanted to, you could use 3 of those points.
Yeah, so I'll do that.
All right. So you take off and major effect. So describe how you intercept. So you mentioned crashing through smaller boats.
Yeah, so the way I'm kind of picturing everything is, they're going to kind of go out through one of the channel ways, and where I can see we can kind of cut through if we just Charlie Bazul right through the smaller little boats, little fishing boats, and
give them the old Charlie Bazul.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing it, and like Charlie takes the wheel and is just like, and like, you're catching up. You notice on the back of that boat. Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying, would there be any way to make it go even faster if like Reese?
Yep. Yep. You can tinker on the engines. Describe how this looks and how you want to do it.
Yeah, I think Reese just walks over and goes, just trust me, Charlie, and like bends down and like
do your thing,
and like starts playing with wires, trying to make it go faster.
All right, so this is going to be an intellect task 5. So you need a 15 or higher, and you might have things that lower it.
tinkering with devices will make it a 4.
Yep, that makes it a
Um,
4.
And how do you can spend your pool, right?
So yeah, you can spend intellect points. Do you have edge in intellect?
I
Like an
don't.
edge of 1 or something?
I
What is
don't.
your edge in?
Speed and might.
Okay, so you can't do that. So you can spend 3 intellect points to lower it again to a 3. So you need a 9 or higher.
No.
It's not going faster. Tina, you see that you might be able to connect the wires and make it go a little faster. You see what she's working on, but you can try, and you'll need a 6 or higher at this point, meaning it's a task difficulty of 2 for you at this point. But they are starting, whatever progress you are making through Charlie's run and gun style, they're taking off.
Hey, you guys, come on. I really believe in you, you know. You can really do this. I think whatever goes on here, you guys can get this shit done. I'm going to encourage them by oration and reduce the difficulty a little bit.
Can I use, besides Tinker, also machine interface?
Yeah.
Because that would reduce the difficulty by another 2.
Okay. It's going to be automatic, I think. So you just do it at that point.
Yeah.
If you get 0, you just do it. So you, and so you're picking up speed again.
That's
You know,
good.
if there's
That's
4
good.
guys-
You guys keep doing that. Keep doing that.
It's a real
They
good
are
job. It's
launching-
a real good job.
Yeah. They are firing a rocket launcher at your boat. Describe how you want to steer away from it, Charlie.
Can I tell by the trajectory of the projectile? Is it gonna come? Is it on target, or can we just try to like offset it with our newly found speed?
It's going to be a speed task difficulty. If you try to get a new target, it's going to be a difficulty 6 or intellect difficulty 6. If you try to get just outdo it, it's going to be a speed difficulty of 6. So do you want to use your mind or do you want to use your speed?
Probably speed.
And remember, if you guys have any ciphers or anything that might help, you can use those. Anyone can.
I'm open to suggestions here, folks. Otherwise, hold on.
The only thing I can
Or if you have assets that help.
the only thing
yeah.
I can think of doing is pulling a handgun and trying to shoot the rocket out of the air.
Very 80s TV.
Charlie's gonna look back at him and just kind of like in awe, like that's cool.
But he like
All right.
stops and pops his collar again first.
All right, Charlie, make your roll. Nat 20.
Nice.
That wasn't me.
So describe how
That was the coolest thing I'd ever seen.
you get right past it. It explodes on like a large buoy. And you're gaining on it now. And just before you collide with it, you're going so fast. You notice it takes off from the water and is beginning to soar up into the sky. What do you do? Do you guys have anything you can use to like skyhook onto it? I mean, you're secret agents and stuff. Or you can see if you can make this thing fly. Yeah.
I have a Cypher for that. I can, I've got a Cypher for lift. So
Yeah.
let's check that. And basically, yeah. She flies it through some paste.
All right. For 1 hour, the user can float up in the air, back down again. Yeah, we'll say that works on your ship. Totally works. And it's a tube of paste, so you paste the engine, and then it starts burning the paste. The paste dissipates, and you completely start lifting off with your boat now. Now, they are firing their machine guns at you now. It's bouncing off the hull of your vessel, and I need each of you to make a speed defense roll to avoid the bullets that are coming in your direction, except for Charlie because he's piloting.
Yeah,
Oh.
this is good.
Fella's been hit.
Ugh. Not the dress again.
Yeah. So you're taking costume damage at this point, and you're bleeding. You're hurt. Reese, are you going to tend to her?
Yeah, I will.
So you take 4 points of damage, or 6 points of damage, fella, to your might pool. So that's where it comes down. And essentially, so Reese, describe how you're going to attempt to tend to her as bullets are flying past you.
Yeah, I think in my like photographer's bag, I just pull out like cloth and gauze and things I have, and I'm just like holding pressure on this wound.
Yeah, it hurts like a mother too. Like it's just
okay, fella.
Yeah.
I know
She's
it's
like,
sorry.
oh my goodness, I just might faint.
I mean, don't do that. You'll be okay. She's just trying to keep her away.
I ship Fella and Reese now. Like that's the ship of this game. Every game is a ship, and that's the one. She fits into her arms. Poor plain Jane Reese. And so your flamingos are taking up. The altitude's getting high. It's getting harder to breathe on deck. You can either go into the bridge, or you can attempt to jump and board the enemy vessel.
I know which one sounds cooler.
Which is the one we're gonna do.
Just
do it.
Altitude gain or loss from where I am, or am I just going with it?
What's that?
Am I able to control the altitude of the vessel while
You can go down if you want. Their flamingo's going up and up and up and up and up, and it appears to be aiming towards a large pentagonal, like 5-sided metallic shape that's high. It almost looks like it's in orbit, just beyond the atmosphere.
So we're chasing them airborne then.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're flying and they're flying. The flamingos have taken off from the ocean.
Well, if we're above them, and if I think I can skydive onto their vehicle, I'm all about that life.
And somebody chuck me over. I'm like, now.
Yeah, your robot can.
Yep.
Robot throws you and jumps. So the robot throws you without any problem, and you do need to make a speed task difficulty 3 to tumble aboard. You too, Tony, for skydiving.
Okay.
Speed defense, you say?
Not speed defense, but just a speed task difficulty 3. Do you have any acrobatics or anything that helps you?
No.
Yeah, you do that.
I'm gonna spend some effort. I really don't want to fail this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So you do it. So yeah, you tumble. Your robot comes. What about Fella and Reese?
Reese looks at Charlie, and then at Fella, she's like, "Are you gonna keep flying this, Charlie? I really don't want to jump off of a flying boat."
Can I get it any closer to kind of maybe like, I don't know, like almost like, yeah. So I'm gonna.
It's gonna be speed task difficulty 3. You can get directly above them and essentially make it an easier drop.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna try something for you real quick here, and I'm gonna try to get the ship positioned just perfect for him.
All right. So at this point, you guys can make speed task difficulty 2, or spend effort, or if you have any like acrobatics training, to leap from your ship and descend or sail carefully, or you climb down this ladder on the side of your boat and go down onto the other flamingo. It's up to you.
Is my wound like not actively bleeding right now, or am I still?
No, it's actively bleeding. You're in a lot of pain, but
Yeah.
you're not going to bleed out. You've been treated by Reese.
Okay, so I'm stabilized, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you want this speed. I'm gonna carefully, like gingerly, like, oh, my poor side.
So I have a special skill called Inability, the difficulty of any task that involves balance, grace, or hand-to-eye coordination.
Hi. So it increases 3 for you. Yeah.
I
It's
just
harder
want to
for you.
be honest.
So Fella makes it down gingerly and that weekly. So
She's like, oh, watch your step, dear.
yeah, Reese makes it down. She's kind of wibbly wobbly and she gets down. Charlie, your fuel canisters on your flamingo have been hit, and you're leaking fuel, losing speed.
Everybody's off our ship now.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna make my way back so that I can exit left. Also, I'd like
All
to
right,
join my group.
So those of you on the deck of the enemy flamingo, the 5 individuals that were on the vessel are preparing to engage you in hand-to-hand combat. They're out of ammunition now. They've been at all trying to sabotage your vessel. What do you do? So they're getting ready to engage you guys in the Queensberry fisticuffs and Krav
Tina's gonna pull.
Taekwondo.
Tina's pulling her pistol.
I'm pulling my flip blade.
All right, switchblade. As you circle each other. Yeah. We need Grant and
They're
Scott, like
snapping.
knife fighting.
They have rhythmic snapping going on at this point.
Yeah, that's
Also,
come up on the.
also, she's doing this, chewing a pack of candy and.
Oh, cool. Shrapnel grenade or mind-numbing gas?
No, mind-numbing gas on them.
Yeah.
All right, so roll 1d6.
26.
Okay, so whoever breathes this is going to take 8 points of damage. So there's a chance that your friends take this. So I need each person to roll a d20. Charlie's exempt from this because he hasn't descended yet. If you roll a 10 or higher, you are not affected by the gas. If you roll lower than a 10, you are affected by the gas.
So it's not a specific like intellect, might.
No, this just does damage.
Okay.
It will
Burn all the assholes!
It will do 8 points of damage to your intellect. So Scrat's not hurt. Tony makes it.
I made it. I rolled a 10.
Hey, it looks like all of you guys have made it. So yeah, you guys are all fine. They, however,
will jump
Yeah.
off. So, what I'd like to do, if possible, is try to see the 2 closest group together so I can try to land on them.
well, their bodies are dropping to the ground, and essentially a Charlie Bazool is going to, flying body cross onto 2 of them as they're collapsing. That's enough to finish them off. Like they've all dropped, they're all brain dead now. So essentially, the ninjas have been defeated by the mind-numbing gas. This flamingo is going higher and higher into orbit. The cabin essentially is locked. The bridge of the ship is locked. What do you do?
Tina's gonna tank her with a lock.
All right, so it's going to be either
we
an
got a new
intellect or
friend.
speed task difficulty of 7. So it's currently impossible. So you can probably reduce it.
I've got machine interface and I have tanker.
Looks like we got a new friend.
Is anything robotic?
It's technical. Unlike anything you've ever seen, I will let you count it.
Then I also have robot builder.
Oh, yeah, so you can apply that. So you can reduce it to a 5 at this point.
That's machine interface, tanker and robot builder. That's 3, right? From a 7.
Thank you, Molthulu, for the raid.
Yeah, thank you so much. Welcome back.
Can you go ahead and repeat that, Earthen? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've got machine interface, which helps me discern the level, function, etc. of a lock. Then I have
We'll
tanker
count
to make something different out of it. I have robot builder, which is related to anything robotic, and I can also spend effort if I want to.
Yep, you can reduce it all the way down to 3.
I'm gonna do that.
All right, so you need a 9 or higher.
Yes.
You do it. Yeah, he manages to get the lock open, and it's a good thing too because you guys are entering very thin atmosphere. The flamingos, starting to catch fire and burn on the outside. You are all starting to feel dizzy and lightheaded. But you notice the bridge. There is merely another mannequin at the wheel, as well as a black suitcase the suitcase you have been looking for, and you are approaching this large sky station high above the world. It appears... Yeah, go ahead.
Tina's probably immediately going for the steering console to like deactivate the automatic pilot.
All right. This is a task difficulty of 10 intellect. Mm-hmm.
I can only get that down to a 6.
If Reese helps with her tinker with devices, can that make it go down more?
You can get it down to a 5. But you have to
just no help here.
Yeah. She dirty fights it.
Charlie takes a look
I throw
at the
my
mannequin.
shoe at it.
I hate these goddamn things, and I'm gonna grab the mannequin and throw it out the door.
Catches
For
fire.
For no real
Disintegrates the
reason other
atmosphere.
than he just got duped right the last time.
Now, you are about a football field away from this massive sky station high above the Earth. And it currently, the Flamingo is docking with this pentagonal shape, this 5-sided flying floating fortress. It's getting very light up here. You're starting to feel like the effects of zero gravity. Ladies, your dresses are kind of going everywhere, but not in an immodest way. Everyone's 80 hair, unless it's shellacked like mine, is like starting to tease out. And with that, the Flamingo docks inside the sky station. There is a single self-building bridge that comes out to the Flamingo, and the Flamingo's door opens. What do you do? Or rather, it is now docked with the sky station.
I don't think this was part of the plan, guys.
I'm just trying to keep my dress in place.
Tina,
She's
you-
like holding her dress down.
Any of this make sense to you? Can we go back? Can you get it to go back?
I couldn't deactivate the automatic pilot. It was a little bit too hard for me.
We all have our shortcomings.
Should have stayed in school.
Was that a short joke?
A door at the end of the
what about
hallway opens.
What about the bridge? Can you get the bridge away so they can't get in here?
I kinda tampered with the lock and it's busted.
So, pardon my intrusion. I would like to intrude here. So, Cypher System, this is for the audience, has the idea of a GM intrusion. Tina, I would like to intrude on you. If you accept my intrusion, you will get an experience point and another experience point to give to another player. But I will complicate the situation by intruding. Do you accept it?
Yeah.
All right. Out of the doorway that connected to the bridge, you notice the sunglasses, trench-coated individual with the automatic weapon from earlier. He must have teleported up here when you sent him to a different recursion. And he is approaching the vessel.
My bad, guys.
Oh, no.
Is that bazooka still knocking around somewhere?
It only had one shot.
Ah.
So in
I'm
efforts
gonna
to
do
slow
it.
this guy down,
I'm
I'd like to
gonna
use
do it.
Spypher.
Okay.
And we'll do I guess we'll fire that with the poison gas ammunition.
Okay.
toss
Person
it
of
out
poisonous
the
cloud, cloud ringers, and then living creatures that breathe suffer damage. So go ahead and roll 1d6, add 2 to the total. That's how much damage you will take. All right, so 8 damage. He is covered in this green poisonous cloud at this point. And there is a massive explosion. The area fills with gas. And as the gas begins to clear, he steps through the clouds completely unfazed.
I don't like him.
He doesn't look like a real nice fella. Why don't all these big men do something about it? And she kind of waves them.
He is boarding the back of the Flamingo.
Oh,
Is there any way that Reese could get close enough to touch him?
Yeah, as soon as he comes through the door, you can open the door and jump on him.
If you guys get my bag, I might be able to try something. And like she's reaching in her bag and pulling out a black glove and sliding it on.
All right. She slides on the black glove. You see the door just be completely ripped off its hinges. You remember, this was like a very sophisticated lock of, unique design. It just rips off. And then he has the gun and he just says, "The suitcase. Hand me the suitcase now."
I think Reese is going to take this chance, to jump on him and try to touch him. And I'm going to
all right.
If possible, before she even does that, can I just start swinging on him just to get his distraction on me or his attention on me?
Reese gets to go first only because she called it. And just in order of fairness, since you got to play the poison grenade, we'll go ahead and let Reese use the glove.
Yeah, this is my last Cypher. So it's a black leather glove, and then it's this thing.
Slave maker, awesome. Okay, so it's going to be a melee attack difficulty 5. So whose level does not exceed the Cypher's level. So go ahead and roll 1d6, and you get to add 2.
Okay.
I mean, wait. This is just to explain how this would normally work mechanically. We're going to let you do this.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll 1d6. So you can use this on any creature that has a level of 5. So bad guys in this game don't have massive stat blocks. They're simply a single number. He is a 5, and sometimes he's a 6, depending on what you do. So this means you can only use Cyphers on guys like him or weaker. There might be a guy even bigger and stronger than him, though, that your Cypher would not work on.
Okay.
This number essentially relates to your attack and defense rolls that you'll need to do in order to wound him as well. And typically a creature's hit points are 3 times what their level is, so he probably has 15 hit points. And you'll notice that most Cyphers do set damage 4, 6, 2, etc. So it's pretty predictable as far as when things will drop. In this situation, though, you need to make a attack on him. It's a might task of 5.
Okay. Let's see. I want to use 3 points to put it down to a 4.
Okay.
And then what can I use edge for? Or no, effort. What? Lower?
That's your effort. You spend the points to lower it. Oh, now, Tiny Tina, you received an experience point as well as 1 experience point to give to another player. Who do you want to give it to?
I'm gonna give it to Reese because she did try to help me out.
Okay.
So can I use that experience point?
Reroll.
If you fail,
reroll. Got you.
Reroll. Yeah. So you brought it down to a 4. Mm-hmm. So you needed to beat a 12. You succeeded. So you made a melee attack. So now let's. Dagnabbit. I stole the card. Where is it? So, slave maker. Where is it? Let me see if I can find this real quick. Slave maker.
Make me a slave.
It was 1 minute.
So yeah, it essentially.
If it fails, it's 1 minute, but then it's like equal to so many hours that you roll, I think.
Okay, so yeah, probably so he is a slave now, and he's like, I
Reese,
love
like,
you.
Reese touches his face. He's like, shh, calm down, calm down. Okay, give me your gun.
You are my everything. Yeah, he hands over his gun. He's like, I will do as you say.
She looks at Fella and she's like, listen to anything she says, and then she's like starts pointing out her teammates like, we're all your friends now. You need to just listen to anything we say, okay?
I am all ears for you wonderful people.
Stop by putting
love
that
you all.
big gun down. No need to
I
point that
handed
at
it to
anybody.
Reese.
Yeah, Reese has got it.
Oh, did you? Okay,
Reese is like giving it to Tiny Tina.
nice.
Tina's gonna be checking him out because she has an inkling that he's robotic.
She would be correct in this assumption.
Nice.
What do we do now, guys?
Can we disable that thing?
I mean, what if we using? What if we
Yeah,
have more
see
people?
if you can get this thing turned around and go back.
Willie, stay under your thrall for a long time?
About
I am hers forever, he said.
Can you get this thing off you and back? Can you get us undocked?
We would need to do that in the control room, and I can only show you where that is. The controls are not in a language that I understand.
first step. Show us where it is.
What if we give him his gun back and have him clear a path for us to get up there?
Are there other people here who will hurt us?
There is only one individual, the leader, as well as myself.
Yeah, I think we should give him his gun back.
Right.
Okay, well, we need you to protect us no matter what against the leader.
I will do so. He reaches for his gun.
Does the leader have a kill switch for you?
Pardon?
A kill switch?
No. I was not made by him, only hired by him. And I obey you now.
She looks at the rest of you guys and she's like, to the control room?
I think that's a good idea, y'all.
Let's do that, yeah.
Yeah,
Behind
he asks, he goes, shall I clear the path?
I think Tina's gonna like climb on his back and she's gonna start tinkering with him.
Make him talk in a different accent.
No. Yeah. Good day,
No,
Bruce.
she-
All right, let's get right back there and we'll...
She's stuffing him full of explosives.
All right, yeah. So yeah, you're filling him up with explosives, just like your other robot. And he's making his way. There is a door. It's locked, but he places his hand on it, and it unlocks. And the door opens, and as soon as it opens, you see a golf ball come flying, hit him in the eye. It breaks his glasses. And you see your old boss, the captain, there with his golf club. And he goes, oh, fancy meeting you here.
Give him a hey, robot, go
And you
give him
see-
a
yeah.
hug.
You see the robot falls face first, completely defeated by that golf ball to the head. He goes, shame when that happens.
You know, I never liked that beard of yours. I just never
No.
sat right with me.
Someone playing a Cypher, what's going on? So let's bring a Scrat up to speed. So,
I found the
Reese
love of my
managed-
life,
yeah.
and I
Yeah.
lost him.
I mean, he's gone. Where have all the good men gone? Yeah. So Reese managed to make a slave out of the T-800 Terminator robot. And he was going to go. He said there's only one other man on this vessel, the leader. And he led you and had the gun and was going to clear out the leader for you. As soon as you opened the door, he took a golf ball to the eye, which murdered him. And it is, in fact, the captain from the agency, from the golf course. He appears to be the leader of this organization.
You're
You are
muted,
muted,
Scrat.
Tony.
Of course I am. Of course I'm muted. That's what I'm doing. I'm muted because I'm so shocked. That's what I'm shocked. Well, look, boss, what are you doing? What are you doing here doing all this? This is why you're setting us on a case to go and catch yourself. You knew we never lose.
Sound logic.
I needed to make sure the suitcase would get to me, and I knew there would be others that would attempt to thwart my plans, and I knew you guys could be trusted to bring it right here.
So in other words, you're saying you knew we were gonna fail this whole time? We were gonna do this?
So, quick question.
Very predictable.
What are you gonna do with it?
I'm taking it to my bosses. And he pulls out a small device, presses it, and on the massive window behind him, where you can see the earth below, a large, almost silhouetted, lean figure appears. It's moving almost like it's in a void. He goes, "The world is but one of many, and we all have masters we serve."
Yeah, Tina's been rigging her pistol at the moment.
Fella
You can take a
being,
shot at him.
wait, before you do that, Fella being skilled in any forms of deception, knowing how to see through deception,
Yeah.
what does she sense from this?
You sense that he is part alien, part robot, and part human. He is three beings folded into one. He infiltrated your government, received a position of promise, and you also know this. If the Terminator is a level 5 creature, this guy's a level 7. He's a more sophisticated model.
So I want to
Also
talk.
hear yeah, go ahead.
So as like Tina's getting ready to take a shot, I want to talk to you a bit more. Okay, so let's just talk about this whole thing. I mean, maybe you're being a little bit rash, and I'm gonna try and enthrall him also.
Now, is your enthrall limited to the level of creature it can affect?
I don't know. I took it straight from the fast builder. It just says, while talking, you grab and creep another creature's attention, even if the creature can't understand you. For as long as you do nothing but speak, you can't even move. The other creature takes no actions other than to defend itself.
It works. It works for sure. So you spend an intellect point, and it works. He takes no action, so he's listening to you. So he is enthralled by Tony Vincetti. He goes, "You will make a good bride for me, Tony."
Yeah, that's what they all say, sugar.
One.
But you gotta. Yeah, if you liked it, you should have put a ring on it long ago.
I mean, take him out to dinner first. Have some pet.
The word is Tony's fast, real fast.
I mean, yeah, that checks out.
I mean, I can see through deception, and I knew that right away.
Yeah.
So
But he's currently enthralled. You have
all
him-
he can do is talk to Tony
Yes.
right now, nothing else?
So long as
you
I
can
keep
take
talking to him.
defensive actions.
Tina, go see if you can figure out how to get this boat out of here. We need to just let's get.
Tina's first gonna pass the pistol to Charlie, the rigged pistol. He does anything, you shoot him.
Well, he's enthralled. He can only take defensive actions.
She's going over to the console and she's gonna try to make sure that they can leave.
All right, so it's going to be a task difficulty 8. So you need to roll a 24 on a 20-sided die, which is impossible. So I assume you have some abilities to make this easier for you.
Machine interface, tinker, robot builder, and I can spend effort.
All right, so do all those things. So that will reduce it by 3. You need a 15 or higher.
4. I
Okay.
also spend effort.
Okay. So that won't do it.
I'm spending
You
XP
have an
for
experience? Yeah,
Yep.
you can re-roll with your experience.
that. Oh god!
Still not enough. So the way this works is it is so I'm going to narrate the failure like this. It's going to take you longer than you'd like to figure it out, and you are essentially out of combat now while you are taking control of the sky station and figuring out a way out of here. So you are removed now. Charlie.
Oh wait, you were in combat?
Sort of.
Still
It's not like
doesn't-
D&D where we're all rolling initiative and we have this and we do a million things and we take 5 hours. So
yeah, because even
he's
with
enthralled.
that,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made it.
He killed your. Essentially, when he attacked your robot, that kind of started a combat-like scenario. So, I'd like to hear what Fella is doing, and I'd like to hear what Charlie is doing.
Ugh. Fella's not the greatest with logic, so she's just kind of sitting there like, but I don't know. What is Tony doing? Is he still keeping?
He's enthralling him, yeah.
Did
He's
she-
like moving in mysterious ways. He's like Axl Rose snake dancing and like, yeah, yeah. And
All I can do right now is talk, fella. I can't help you.
the bald-headed man with the perfect beard is just like, whoa.
That's it. Keep him right here.
All right, Charlie Bazool.
Yeah, Charlie. What should we do?
Well, I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna grab the robot by the wrist and drag the body, if I can, over and put him right at the
Yes.
So I'm gonna do that, and then while I'm over there, I'm just gonna look at him again and say, "I told you I didn't like this beard," and I'm gonna just kind of like muffle it. You know, like,
All right, now
puff
he
it
can
all
take a defensive action. So here's what I want you to do: either speed or might. You can choose, and it's a task difficulty 7.
All right, so. Can I spend more than 3 points to bring it down, or is it a point for every 3? Okay, so I do have edge on might. So
Okay, so it'll be 2 instead of 3.
and then how about, would this be considered like an active intimidation?
Sure.
So we'll use that too.
All right, so it's now down to 5.
And yeah, that's all I got. Okay.
So you need a 15 or higher.
Is there any way Fella can help?
Yeah, you could act as an asset, but he rolled a 19, so
Oh,
you do this
never mind.
with a minor effect as well. So go ahead and describe. So you muffle up his beard, you get it. It's like, no. And what else were you going to do?
I just wanted the robot full of dynamite, like right at his feet.
Oh, yeah. It's at his feet. The robot full of dynamite is at his feet.
And then you're gonna look over to Tina and be like, "How we doing on that over there, Tina?"
Second.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
Reese, you notice your robot boyfriend. He's like starting to reach his hand out to you. He's barely alive.
If I go over to him, what? What would the obstacle be to like tinker with the like to try to maybe get him going again?
It's a test difficulty 5 natively. If you tinker, you can get it down to a 4, and if you spend effort, you can get it down to a 3. It's an intellect task.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that for sure.
All right.
Okay.
Do it. All right. You hit it right on.
That's exactly what I needed.
Yeah, so you start tinkering. You notice his eyes sort of illuminate red. His fingers grasp on the automatic rifle, and he stands up and he begins firing on Mr. Magic, who starts moving like, Matrix agent, dodging all the, Neo in the Matrix trying to dodge all the bullets as your Terminator boyfriend's firing and walking towards him. What does Tony and Fella do while this is going on? The enthrall, for all intents and purposes, has ended because of the loud noise of the automatic weapon.
Once again, bad.
can fella take advantage? I don't know if
Yeah, describe what you do, and you can.
Okay, so they're all firing at alien guy.
Mm-hmm.
Fella would take out like another one of her like sleek little guns and try to help.
All right. So it's going to be a task difficulty of 7 to hit him. You can, since you're trained in your light weapons, it'll be a 6. So you can spend speed effort to reduce it to a 5.
And I
you
think
might
that
have another ability that helps you as well.
taking advantage reduces it, I think.
Yep.
By 1.
Oh yeah. You and your dirty fighting stuff.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
yeah. So you reduce it to 5. 5. So you need a 15 or higher.
Okay, and you said I could spend effort? Or what?
Yep. That would reduce it to 5.
Okay, that does. Okay, so then what do you want me to roll again?
1d20 and see if you get a 15.
Oh, just
or
a
higher.
okay.
Yep. I know there's a lot of buttons on the character sheet, but
Yeah, there.
sometimes it's easiest to just roll 20.
Ugh,
So not enough.
so close.
As you shoot, it misses. The bullet shoots. Oh, it almost hits Tiny Tina. Like it just whizzes past your face and just breaks some of the console.
Sorry, darling. I didn't. My aim is a little off right now.
As your eyes glance unchecked, you see your robot companion is starting to roll up into what you know as self-destruct mode. And with that, you have finished unlocking what you would need, essentially an escaped craft. It's almost like a glider that will glide down. You'll need to get the suitcase, and you'll need to get onto that glider, and then you'll need to soar down to the earth because your robot is going off. The one with the dynamite. He explodes in a big explosion. He's catching the alien in the blast, and the Terminator's like walking into the flames, firing. And you can see the silhouettes of their bodies. So I need everyone to make a speed defense roll. Task difficulty 4 to get away from the explosion. And then you guys might want to take that suitcase and get out of there.
Yes.
So Fellow works, Reese works, Tiny Tina works. Essentially, you all dodge the explosion. So kind of narrate your escape from this sky station now. So the alien is essentially caught in the explosion. The robot's caught in the explosion, and the Terminator's caught in the explosion. You need to find your way to the glider. So Tina, and I want you to essentially give us the answer and tell us what it is. Where is it located in relation to you are in the sky station right now?
It would probably be opposite to the where we first landed. So, let's see, basically on the other side of the station.
Right. So you guys are going to have to get to the opposite side of the station. Now, you notice as the explosion is subsiding, you see a green-skinned individual, charred, glowing almost with plasma. You know, chunks of flesh missing, but it's walking out of the flames. You apparently have made this individual mad. So you guys can run away, or you can stay and fight, or you can try to delay. For example, Charlie Bazul can stay and try to slow it down.
Has anyone gotten to the suitcase?
No, not yet. Someone has to. Which of you went to go get the suitcase, or did you go two at a time?
Who
Where
was?
is-
Yeah, where?
It's in the it's in your pink flamingo. It was in the cabin.
I think
You go get the suitcase. I'll deal with the rival here.
Okay, I'll run for that. And then in like her really high stilettos, she takes off.
Yes. With perfect form and perfect speed. Just
Yes.
That's the agent training. Tony, you know that the glider needs to be prepped in order to take off. However, are you going to assist Charlie in delaying Broxham, the alien assassin, or are you going to go to prep the glider? So that's Scrat's choice. So, prep the glider or help Charlie?
I will help Charlie.
All right, so Charlie, for all intents and purposes, you're going to have an asset that will reduce the might task from 7 to 6, and you can spend points or do other training things to attempt to get in there, because this guy's coming at you full force, but you have the advantage.
So what I would like to do is use 3 might points to bring it down.
Yep.
Also, remember, you have the pistol that Tina raised with the Cypher.
He needs no weapons. Yeah.
And I'm also going to use intimidation fear tactics. I'm going to tell him, man, I thought you were ugly when you had that messed up beard. Now you're just falling to pieces.
That works. He hates being insulted.
I'm going to take the rest of the pieces off you. So that's going to be a point for intimidation and fear tactics. So that should bring it down to another one.
Yep. So now it's down to 4.
And I would like to make this attack using the bash ability. So if it's successful, he's going to be dazed for 1 round.
Okay. So you're going to need to get a 12 or higher. A nat 1. So that means it's an automatic intrusion. So as you go to bash, he makes a fist, he pulls his arm back. It turns into a long blade, and he pierces you for 10 might points of damage. Do you have any might points left?
Oh,
that's going to zero me out, aside from...
Okay, so then it will roll over onto your speed. Do you have speed points left?
I do, yeah.
All right, so you are essentially, at this point, debilitated, I believe. And let's talk about what that means. So you have moved down the damage track, and you are now wounded. So let me pull up the damage track in my notes. We can read out what this says. It's not too bad. You're just you're going to have something. I'll pull that up a little later. We're almost right at the end. So essentially, you now are impaired. So you are wounded and in an injured state. Effort now costs an extra level a point, and you no longer get minor and major effects on your attacks. So it's harder to do things, and you don't get like the special bonus damage when you land your a 19 or a 20 on your
like no crits.
No crits, essentially. Yes. So yeah, and he just spears you. Now, Tony, this leaves an opening for you to do what you do.
Well, what I do is generally I talk, but I don't think talking's gonna help Charlie too much right now. So they need time to prep the thing, right?
Yeah.
I guess I'm just gonna start spieling at him again. Hey man, come on, there's no need for all this violence, you know? We can settle this like gentlemen, you know, just because you're some weird creepy alien robot, you know, thing. We can settle this. You can just calm down. We don't need to fight.
I need you to make a speed defense roll.
Ah!
I'm not gonna tell you what the test difficulty is. No. So you take 7 points to your might pool as he spears you.
Oh!
With that said, I think right about now, Tiny Tina has prepped the glider, and Reese and Fella have recovered the suitcase. So Charlie and Tony, I need you both to make speed defense checks to see if you can outrun this alien and get on that glider. That works for Tony. And that works for Charlie. So you guys are running. You manage to get into the glider. The glider begins to take off. Is Tina piloting it?
Yep.
All right, it's going down. Just before you go, though, you notice the robot that had exploded is kind of crawling and getting on, and he's brought the sunglasses of the Terminator to Reese and kind of gives it to her as a memento of her robot boyfriend. And with that, the sky station is self-destructing, and your glider lands safely down to the planet below. And that is our Spypher system Miami Dice Super Spy Adventure.
Hey.
No. What do we do with the case? What's in the box?
What's in the
Gotta give it
box?
to the government, and everyone will pursue you. So, yeah, that's essentially an improvish Spypher game where we just came up with a very high concept. Katie jumped into play with like 30 minutes notice, and everyone did a great job. So
Yeah, that was totally
It was-
amazing. Beautiful. Grant, like, again, just knocking it out of the park with these games. Like,
Jesus.
like,
That was a lot of fun.
yeah, wow. So I tell you what, we went around the clock that way last time. We'll go around the clock this way this time. So we'll start with Earthen Lady. Earthen, so this is your chance to tell us who you are, where you are, and which bit you like the most.
So let's keep the where you are to something really short. I'm basically in every D&D stream. I don't stream myself. I'm Earthen Lady. Yeah, as I said, you can find me in almost every D&D stream nowadays. I really enjoy D&D, so yeah. I don't stream, not for a long while at least. So, and what did I like most? I think the part with the blimp. Where they were
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Yep.
They had no weapons.
Yeah.
I would have totally shot him out of the sky.
Awesome, fantastic. And next we have the Celts.
So yeah, my name is The Celts. I'm on Twitter at The Celts. I kind of just jump on in as many of these games as people will allow me to jump onto. I had a really good time. This was the first time I've ever played Cypher. It was really cool. I'd probably say, with the exception of Tony's constant shimmy the whole game, that my favorite part was actually riding the backseat of the Skyline. So I think that was fun. Even though I didn't really narrate what was going on in my head very well, I personally had a good time picturing that. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. I like that.
Awesome.
Several nat ones this game too, which I'm not used to yet. So I like the fact that I swung big and failed miserably a couple of times. That was awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, that great, and great job all around. Next up we have Amber for Raw D&D.
Oh my gosh, Grant, this is so much fun. It's my first time playing Cypher, and I really liked the setting with like the 80s and the synth wave going on, but my favorite moments were definitely the montages with the songs and us racing through down to the docks in our sports car. As for me, you can find me on Twitter at furore_D&D. I play with Encounter Roleplay on Wednesdays as Lyra, a Jedi, who is actually Grant's older sister.
My sister.
Yes. And yeah, that's what I do.
Fantastic. And Katie, who we'll be seeing again very shortly.
Yeah. I'm
Looks like we
Katie. You
got
can
a
find me
new
on Twitter at
friend.
KatieFace. I also do the social media stuff for off the table, off_the table on Twitter and Twitch. I am there every Monday playing either our 5e D&D campaign, or I am the keeper for our Monster of the Week campaign. I'm there every Wednesday playing our Burning Wheel campaign, or our Mutants and Masterminds game, or I'm there every other Friday playing Monster Hearts. You can also find me every every other Saturday, playing on Mort's Magical Wares Dungeon World. Tomorrow at 2:30 Central Standard Time, on Off the Table, we will be running John Harper's Lady Blackbird with all female cast, and we gender swapped all the characters, and we're calling it Lady Brunchbird. So it's very, very, it's gonna be very fun. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome, fantastic, and yeah, Katie back in just about 10 minutes to run the next game, which would be awesome, or facilitate the next game, should I say? Well, now Grant, my favorite part I think was crashing the car onto the boat and then jumping off of the boat. Like, just the ability to just do completely ridiculous things always makes me happy. So thank you for that. But Grant, you yourself.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing. My favorite part is always introducing new people to Cypher System. I discovered it when I was invited to audition for Monty Cook Games' streamed Owl of Lycia show. They auditioned like 50 people, and I told them, I was like, well, I've never played Cypher System before, but I played a lot of role-playing games. I fell in love with it immediately, particularly for streamed games, since it's very fluid, and it has a powerful, robust engine. I'm on a lot of shows. You can always follow me on Twitter at WisePapaGrant to see my schedule, which is changing. I'm coming to Scratch channel soon for a City of Mist campaign, where I will be playing Dinah Kennedy, the Red Queen, who's kind of this Dana Scully-like character. She's pretty cool. I like her. I'm on Encounter Roleplay with Rise of the Dark Side campaign, WebDM show, Land Between Two Rivers, and I think this week I'm probably going to be running a Cypher System one-shot. I'm also the Dungeon Master for the Greyhawk channel's Queen of the Spiders campaign, which will be running all year. I have 3 Invisible Sun shows coming. So Invisible Sun is a new game by Monty Cook. It features surreal fantasy where the magic is really magical. It's a deluxe game, and it will be on 3 channels. Nothing's been officially announced, but I'll tell you guys now. Off the Table, WebDM show, and Eric Vulgaris Once Upon a Game. I very carefully chose where I wanted to run based on the communities, and I'm more than happy to run games in one-shots on, say, Scratch channel or Encounter Roleplay, other friends of mine, to help share the love and grow the Invisible Sun community. But yeah, hit me up on Twitter if you have any questions about role-playing games. I'm an independent content creator. I've done a lot of design work and a lot of writing. But mostly I'm on a lot of shows these days. So also, I need to plug that I'm the tabletop director for Gex Convention. I'm running games at Gen Con for Kobold Press, and I'm also running games at PAX Unplugged for just my friends. And you're all my friends, so you can play.
Awesome, thank you so much. Yeah, so guys, that pretty much wraps us up. I had lots of fun. I felt like I was playing Vice City again for most of it. Yeah, I'm gonna go and fade away. I think I'll leave the 80s music playing for a little bit until we get in with Katie and that. But I'm gonna need the Zoom, so I'm going to fade us out, and I'll see you guys later on. See you later. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Had a blast.
Great job, guys. Great job. Really, really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that. That was so much fun. So we will be back shortly with Katie Faze, but we're going to take probably about a 15-minute break as we set up the next stream.